Hi friends, welcome back. Happy Tuesday. I'm so excited that you're here today. So for today's lesson, what we're going to be doing, we're going to be composing using our base 10 blocks. Now I know we've done something like this in the past, but today we're going to dig a little deeper to see how we can use our base 10 blocks, maybe in a quicker way or maybe in a different way that we're not usually used to. Our final outcome will be this. You're going to be coming up with your own anchor chart, and I'll go into further details in a minute. So for now, go ahead and get your markers, your pencils, your color pencils ready.
All right, let's go ahead and get started. Let's open up to our table of contents. The title of this little section is going to be Composing Base 10 Blocks. And it is still chapter 1. Okay, and we'll turn to the next available page, which is our after our 4 forms practice. And we are going to title this page Composing with Grandpa. And I'm going to tell you in just a second why I'm calling it Composing with Grandpa. And it's still chapter 1. And let's go ahead and get started. So, if you had me last year, I've already kind of told you this secret, and I'm going to let my new students know my secret as well. So, my grandpa actually came up with the glue to compose the base 10 blocks. So, one day he told me he was working, and he was trying to figure out a way to make it easier to count the ones by the tens. So he was thinking and thinking and thinking, and he said that he finally came up with like a little glue mixture that'll glue the base 10 blocks together to compose a newer one. So for example, these ones, he took these ones and he said, how can I get that into 10? A quick 10. So what he did was he used his glue. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And he thought, well, maybe if I glue it together, I can turn them into a rod. So he took these 10 units and he composed it into what we have here, a rod. So now that when he knew he was counting and he looked at it really quickly and he had it like this, he knew for sure that was a 10. So that was how he composed the rod. The next one that he was having trouble with, when he noticed that his numbers were starting to get a little bigger, he was trying to count these by 10 and now seeing how can I make them into 100. So what he did was he started messing with it, he started playing with it. He counted by tens to see how many it took him to get to 100 and see if he could compose a flat. So right here we have 10, 20, 30. Now remember, I'm counting them by tens because there's 10 units in each rod. 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. So then my grandpa glued them together, and that's when he made the flat. Now let's see how many of these how many rods it took to make this flat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It took him 10 rods to make this flat right here. So then my grandpa thought, okay, I composed my ones into tens, I composed my tens into hundreds. Now what can I compose my hundreds to? So then he started just using the blocks again to see what he could compose next. So the next thing that he composed was our next cube, which happens to be the thousands cube. So he took his 100 and he started seeing how many does it take for me to make the thousands cube. So he started with 100. Now remember, he's counting this by 100 because after he glued it together, he knew for sure, if he looked at this, it was 100. So 100, 200, 300, 400, 500. Now you see it's starting to form. Now we're not done yet because there is 1,000 in the cube, and right now we're at 500. So we're about halfway there. 600, oops. 700, 800, 900, then we're at 1,000. So then my grandpa, I don't have his glue with me, but he glued them together, and then that's how he formed the cube. Do we see that? Now let's count to see how many flats it took to create the cube. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oops, it's out of the camera. 9 and 10. Now remember, I'm only counting to see how many it took. But each one, if we look at it for sure, we know each flat has 100. So what we're going to do in our notebook is we are going to do just a rough sketch of what we just did now, and then that's where your anchor chart is going to come in handy. So I'm going to start with my ones. Now I'm just going to do a simple little drawing, the other ones that I showed you. That way we can get through it. So I know that 10 units equals 1 rod. And then I'm going to represent that right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now remember, these are not dots. These are the other ways that we draw units. Equals one of these. Now this is a rod. Now our next thing that he composed was 10 rods equals 1 flat. So we're going to draw them here. Remember, these are simple ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, which equals one of these, 1 flat. And then the next thing we're going to do are the flats. So we knew that 10 flats equals 1 cube. So I'm going to draw my 10 flats. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And that equals 1 cube. Now remember, this is how we draw the cube. We draw a square. Then on the inside of the square, we put a dot, and then from there, sorry, I was working ahead, we draw another square. We use that as a corner, and then we connect it. And that is my 10 flats that equal 1 cube. Now, when we talk about composing a number, so to compose give me 1 second. To compose means to put numbers together to create another number. Now, your activity today, I'm going to show you it right here, but then I'm also going to make another video so you can see how to upload it. So, this is our activity for today. You are going to create your own anchor chart. Now, you see I use lots of color with mine, and yours, you're going to do it in your notebook. You're going to use this information here. So, we did a simple one. And on your next page, you're going to draw your anchor chart right here. Now, Ms. Medina didn't put hers in her notebook, remember, because she is going to put hers on the wall. But that is part of your activity today, and I'm going to show you how to upload it onto Schoology.